Being joyful has become such a far-fetched idea, don't you think? Most of the people right now are in a constant state of anxiety, constant state of grind, and constant state of reaching out for the next big thing that's going to make them happy. And in this video, I really want us to talk about what it really means to have a joyful life. If someone asked you today, are you living a joyful life? What would you say? Would you be confident enough to say, yes, I am living a joyful life? And if yes, what is making your life joyful? If your answer is no, I am in a constant um state of worry and anxiety, and life just has too many challenges that it's impossible to have a joyful life, then this video is going to help us unpack how we can actually live a joyful life amidst everything that's going on in the world right now, amidst all the challenges that will always be there. And there is this analogy that a friend of mine shared with me the other day about a fisherman and a businessman. Maybe most of you have heard about it. So the fisherman is just on the beach, enjoying the waves of the ocean, just there with his hands behind his head, the leg crossed over to the other, and he's just enjoying the breeze and the beach, and it's a nice scenery. Then there's this businessman who's also taking a nice stroll. Maybe he's on vacation or something. Then he notices this fisherman, and he's a businessman, so the first thing he's wondering is, why isn't this guy working? Of course he's not rich enough and he can't afford to just lay there. What is he doing? And he decides to have a conversation with him. The businessman is like, aren't you supposed to be fishing? And then the fisherman is like, I already had my catch and took it to the market and I'm good for the day. And then the businessman is like, but you do know you could do more fishing, right? You could do more fishing and then you'd be able to get more money for the day. Then the fisherman is like, why would I want to do more fishing to get more money? Then the guy's like, obviously, when you get more money, then you can be able to buy more boats. And then he's like, okay, when I buy more boats, then what? When you buy more boats, you can employ a lot more people and you can catch a lot more fish. Okay, and then when I catch a lot more fish, then when you catch a lot more fish, you'll get a lot more money. And then what do I do with the money that I get? Then you could be able to buy a house by the beach. Okay, then when I buy a house by the beach, what next? Then you could be able to relax by the beach in front of your house and overlooking the ocean and resting and having a good time. And then the fisherman goes like, isn't that what I'm doing right now? I am by the beach enjoying this beautiful scenery. That's what I'm doing right now. And then this is just to show you that society expects you to go such a long route for you to be happy. This fisherman is literally just content, and that is what I'm saying is a joyful life. He is literally content, and you can't call him lazy. You can't call him lazy. Let nobody say that that's laziness. It's really not laziness. It's choosing your struggles and choosing the things that you're going to fight for. And this fisherman decided, I'm going to fight for my peace of mind, and that is what I'm choosing. And if that means that if I catch fish once a day and it's enough for me, then that's good. I'm not going to be on this hamster wheel of getting the next best thing. So that's why like the disconnect is there between the businessman and the fisherman, because they both have very different perspectives on life and different values. The businessman values the external things. Let's just be honest. He values getting this more money, having a loads, having even a company, having even branches everywhere if it's possible, having a franchise even. But this other guy, the fisherman, is just like, I just want to be able to eat, and if I can be able to eat, then that's good. I don't know about his family. It's just an analogy, guys. So I don't know about his family or how he's fending for them, but for him to be just resting there, he just decided that one catch for me is enough. So I want us to really be able to have a discussion about having a joyful life, because it really is important, especially in today's society where things are just so complicated, and let's just begin by the first thing. You need to identify your core values. What are your core values? What really matters to you? What really matters to you? And these core values should not be pegged on external factors. You should not be here saying I'm hardworking and I want to be a successful person. Those are not values. Values are the things that are deeply rooted within, that the principles that guide your everyday life, that guide the decisions you make, the kind of person you are, the kind of person people see you as. So principles that really, really matter to you, these are the values. And your values could be anything from your faith, connections with people, maybe family or friendships. It could be something like empathy, it could be compassion, it could be kindness, but values need to be things that make up your personality. You cannot attach your values to external things, because then you're going to be misguided and then you are not going to live a joyful life. So identify your core values. And these core values, I don't mean when you have them now you automatically have a joyful life, because challenges are always going to be there. But what these core values do is that they help you navigate difficult situations, and they help you navigate difficult challenges. Because if you know what you stand for, being in the face of adversity is going to be easier, as opposed to someone who doesn't know their values. For example, let's use a very common example of a relationship breakup. If you have broken up with someone because of disloyalty, and one of your core values is loyalty, and you value loyalty with all your heart, and this person has broken that trust, it doesn't mean that now you're joyful, because of course you're heartbroken, of course you're in pain, of course you're questioning everything, of course you're angry. But if you remember, look, what are my values? My value is loyalty. If you remember this and sit with this, it's going to be easier for you to make the right decision of moving on and not going back to this person, or not being manipulated by this other person to get back with them. Because you see, if you really do not prioritize this as it is your core value, but if you do not prioritize it, it's easy for you to make wrong decisions, which will make you more miserable. Because the scenario is, you don't prioritize it, and deep down it is a core value, you've let them breach that, okay, and then you get back with them, and then of course the cycle continues. So if you prioritize your core values, you have an easier life, because now you'll be able to move on with confidence that I am moving on because of my core value, and I will not be swayed by other things. I know this is the direction I'm going, and I'm not looking back. So you're able to heal better, because you've had these cases of relationship breakups that end up so badly, because I don't think people really know, or haven't really identified what their values are when they're in relationships. You need to choose your core values, because they'll help you have a stress-free life. Not really stress-free, but a somewhat life that is not as brutal and not as sad. So really identify your core values and stick by them and prioritize them. The second thing is to celebrate small wins. It is very easy to be consumed by the cares of this world. It is very easy to be consumed by all the evil things going on, by all the challenges that come your way. So taking note of the small things do matter, and these small things will help you look at things from a different perspective, and they will help you to be grateful. For example, things like the luxury of affording basic needs. Not everyone can afford that. So if you can afford that, then sometimes you just be like, at least I can afford a meal, at least I can afford to have a roof over my head, at least I can afford to have a job, even if it is not the best one. So things like even being able to make it back home safe and sound. People start their days and they go on about their day and they never come back home, so being grateful of even your health. So these small things, they'll be able to steer you at least in a direction that is not going to fill your heart with with a lot of heartache, because if you're just looking at all the negative things that are going on in your life, then you will not really have a joyful life. And I've said that living a joyful life is just living a life of content. So identifying small things that are at least positive, and these are things that you overlook, but identifying them and celebrating them are going to make you at least not live a miserable life. And I don't mean that these small things or being grateful is the secret ingredient to having a joyful life, because there are so many other people who are suffering. So what do we do? Like, there are people who are in situations where they look right, left, everywhere, and there's really nothing to be thankful about. Like, for example, people who are disabled, people who are chronically ill, people who are in war countries. Like, if you think about those people, you'd be like, what? Then how are Winfred, you're telling us to look at things that at least we can be grateful for, but what about them? How can they move on? But it's important to understand that human beings are resilient, guys. Human beings are resilient. The things that a human body, a human mind can do, it's incomprehensible. Because how many times have you heard of somebody who's disabled and has become a worldwide champion because of something they did? We have people who are disabled to the point, like, if it was you, you would have given up in life. Sometimes I look at them, people like Nick Vujicic, is that his name? I'm not sure. There are so many people who've endured like suffering, but they've still found a way. Not to say that everyone has the capability of finding a way to live a joyful life, but you should also acknowledge that there are actually people who, no matter the situation that they are in, it could be their worst situation ever, but they can be able to look at something positive. As much as you would be like, celebrating small wins and being grateful, it's such a cliche point, it's such a cliche idea. Oh, it doesn't even work. Please remember that human beings are capable of so much. So no matter the situation you're going through, find something to be grateful about. Find something, honestly, because if you don't find something, what do you want? If you don't find something that you can be grateful for, what do you want? Would you rather live a miserable life, or would you rather pick something that, no matter how small it is something that is positive? So you just pick a struggle. You either pick that thing that you're overlooking, you either pick to be grateful about the basic things, or you choose to be miserable and sad all the time. So yeah, really think about that and be grateful of the things that you are privileged of having. Okay. The third thing is limiting negative inputs. So, as I've reiterated before, there are so many crazy things going on in the world today. So it is important for you to pick the things that are entering your life, or the inputs that people are bringing in your life. So avoiding things that are going to trigger negative stuff or negative emotions in you, like even comparing yourself with other people on social media. So limiting that. Watching news, sometimes. You could also limit negative or toxic people who only, when you're talking up with them, it's just negative input. Limit that, because sometimes, even for me, I will not watch the news for a while. I don't want to know what's going on in the world sometimes, because I'm such a crybaby, and I will just be watching a story and I'm just crying, because I'm like, why would they do that? you know like, I avoid things that bring negativity to my life, like even politics. I just try and avoid, because some things will make you angry for no reason. And the fact that it's not like you can pull a magic wand and everything is okay. So just try and evaluate your life and see what are the things that aggravate these negative feelings or emotions in you. And if you find them, you limit them or you cut them off completely. So you want to do the opposite. You want to be around people who are uplifting you. You want to be around communities that are making you a better person, or a society that, that really cares about you and you care about them. So just make sure you're making the right decisions in terms of the people you're letting pour into your life or pour into your cup. As you do the same, it's a two-way thing, so you do the same. Make sure that every time you're interacting with someone, you're not just there to, to weigh them down or to pull them down. You are there to uplift them. So I think that's a very important thing. Limiting negative inputs, it can really help you have a joyful life. Okay. And then the final thing is being part of a community that values you and that you value right back. I think I've mentioned this briefly in the last point, but being part of a community is such an important thing. I really don't like associating myself with groups and with people as much. Like, I have a very small circle and I'm not involved in a lot of, maybe, many these like organizations that do these things. I've never really been that kind of person. I like keeping to myself, and I've realized that as much as you want to keep to yourself, like, no man is an island, and as long as you want to keep to yourself, you need people. You actually need people. So another thing that is crazy is that sometimes we idolize ourselves, and that's something that I've come to realize. Sometimes you can end up idolizing yourself, and you think that, I don't need people, and I'm just a quiet person, I'm just a shy person, and I don't want to be involved with things. People plan things and you're like, I don't want to be involved with that in that. It's all about you, really. It's all about I. Even like in all of this self-development kind of content, what I'm actually doing, it's mostly about you, and I. But I'm starting to like have this realization that it's all, we're idolizing ourselves, and we're just like, oh, don't care about what people think, oh, people are what. But at the end of it all, we forget that people can actually have such a positive impact in your life. People don't have to be bad. People don't have to be crazy. You can actually find people who love you and care about you and who you love right back. So I think it's just that we never want to get out of our comfort zones to find those people. You just need to find that community, and I refuse to believe that you cannot find a community that really matters, a community that is really genuine. I refuse to believe that there is nothing like that. I know as a human race we have failed in so many areas. We have failed, because we kill each other, we rob each other, we do so many terrible things to each other. But then again, it's still the human race, guys. It's still the human race, and I want to be delusional. I want to be delusional that the world can be a better place, and I want to be delusional that I can actually find a community that actually matters and that cares. I have really started to see the need to be part of communities. I think it's because I'm growing older, guys. I think it's because I'm growing older, and I'm just realizing, it's you just try. There are people, as much as you want to protect yourself from whatever it is you want to protect yourself from, life is life, and you need to find the right community. And for me, I started with my church. I've tried to be more involved in church activities. Not really activities, but anytime I hear, like, our church is organizing something, I'm telling myself I need to go on that. I need to stop dodging. I need to stop dodging people. Let me talk to human beings. It's hard, and especially for me, I'm not a good conversationalist. So I'm always like, what are we going to talk about? But they will have something to say. You just hope that, I hope they will drive the conversation and you will pick up on that. So even in, things that I know are being planned, I'm telling myself I need to go on these things. And that is my starting point. And the other thing is that at least I have a friend group that we are trying to be more active on. Because also, if you don't know where to start and you really just are an introvert and you're a shy person or anything like that, you don't have to be part of these communities and whatever. You could just start with a friend group. And if you don't have a friend group, start one. just start one, even if it's of 3 people or 4 people or 5 people. You start one, because you know what these communities do, they help redirect your struggles, because it's not just about you. So you might be going through difficult stuff, but if you have a community that values you and that are genuine, then you are going to have someone or a community to confide in, and they can help you and they can lift you up. And when they lift you up, you're able to overcome that situation better. They could offer you all sorts of support, emotional support, mental support, even financial support, if you need it. So communities are really, really, really important, and we need them as a human race, and you need them as a person. You need them because also these communities, they're going to at least help you shift your energy from the things that are happening in your life. Because say there are things that have been planned, and you really are part of that community, and you don't want to be on the sidelines, you will go and take part in those activities even though you're going through hard stuff. Just be part of a community, and if you do not have that community, just find a way to start it. No matter how introverted you are, you don't have to be an extrovert to be part of a community. I believe there are communities that are actually for people who don't want to be out there too much. It is just finding me. I am just being delusional that you can find something no matter your personality. You can find something. You just need to find people, because you need people. You don't need a bunch of people, a million people by your side, but you need people. Even if it's that friend group, you need that friend group. So yeah, I think that's just about it for today. I just really wanted to talk about this thing called joy, and I hope that it has been an insightful episode, that you are going to try and live a joyful life, because honestly, I refuse to believe that we were brought into this world to just suffer and have a miserable life and worry day in, day out. Like, honestly, it's exhausting, and we need to be able to redefine what joy is, and we need to be able to do that from a place of looking from deep within us, not externally. So after this video, please just look at your life, evaluate, and ask yourself if you really are living a joyful life. And then from there, take action. Take action by actually starting that community, or joining one, by actually looking at your core values, by actually celebrating your small wins. So do those things and see if they help you start living a contented life, a life that is not all about worry and anxiety, because at least that's what I'm trying to do here, and that's why I decided to talk about this topic today. And I really hope it resonated, and if it did, I'm happy, and you can leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And yeah, I will see you on the next one, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and like, and I will see you on the next one, guys. Bye.